Hello everyone, I am Rajas Rao from Université de France Champagne-Ardenne. I'll be talking about how changes in glycan composition affects glycoprotein dynamics using an example of N-glycans in insulin receptor. We know how protein dynamics influences protein function, but how glycan dynamics influences glycoprotein function is not well understood yet. In insulin receptor, previous studies have shown that changes in glycan composition, especially removing sialic acid, ultimately results in insulin resistance, which is a symptom of type 2 diabetes. But how changes in sialic acid composition gives rise to insulin resistance is not understood from structural perspective yet. So we demonstrate here by molecular dynamic simulations that removing sialic acid from glycan affects glycan dynamics, it affects protein dynamics as well as protein-sugar interactions. So we performed molecular dynamic simulations on L1 domain of human insulin receptor. We performed simulations in three conditions: on glycosylated L1 domain with sialic acid for 1 microsecond, on glycosylated L1 domain without sialic acids for 1 microseconds again, and an unglycosylated L1 domain for 1 more microseconds. We analyzed glycan dynamics using RMSD based clustering methods, protein dynamics using principal component analysis. We looked at glycan protein interactions using contact map analysis and an in-house method developed by our group called umbrella visualization, which I'll explain later. So we first looked at how glycan dynamics are affected. So early molecular modeling studies showed that glycans adopt different conformations, but two of them are quite prominent. One is broken wing conformation, where one of the glycan's antenna protrudes towards the inner stalk of the glycan, whereas other is the bird conformation, where both the glycan antennae are stretched outwards. And previous molecular modeling studies on free glycan by our group showed that in absence of sialic acid, the proportion of bird conformation increases and at the same time the proportion of broken wing conformation decreases. But in this study, we found that glycan dynamics are affected, but in an unequal manner. For glycan on the asparagine 16 residue, the bird conformation slightly increased on removal of sialic acid, but for the glycan on asparagine 25 residue, bird conformation decreased when sialic acid is removed. But when we observed changes in protein dynamics, we found the differences to be more clear-cut. From principal component analysis, we found that L1 domain explored total of 4 clusters. Out of those, 2 clusters were included conformations that were common to all the 3 conditions, but 2 more clusters were included conformations that were unique. So one cluster included conformations that were dominated by conformations with sialic acid, and the other cluster were dominated by conformations without sialic acid. These were clusters 2 and 4 respectively, and we chose to focus on these 2 clusters. And we plotted RMSD heat map of representative structures of each structure with respect to the X-ray crystal structure. And interestingly, we found that in cluster dominated without sialic acid conformations, certain residues have higher RMSD when compared to conformations from other clusters as well as X-ray crystal structure. And many of these residues also happen to be insulin binding residues, which led us to infer that in conformations from these clusters, insulin binding may be affected since these residues are more dynamic. We also compared the overall domain architecture of the structures from each cluster, and we found that cluster 4 conformation, which is dominated by without sialic acid conformations, has a more concave insulin binding surface compared to other clusters. And this may adversely impact insulin binding because the accessible area for binding may be reduced due to the concave shape. And since insulin binding may be adversely affected in absence of sialic acid, we hypothesized that glycan interactions with insulin binding residues may also be affected in absence of sialic acid. And we indeed found that residues 38 to 40, of which residues 39 and 40 are insulin binding residues, interact with sugar residues more often when sialic acid is present than when it is absent. And since we found that both protein dynamics and interactions between sugar and insulin binding residues are adversely affected, in absence of sialic acid, we next try to find out if glycan dynamics are affected in cluster 2 versus cluster 4 conformations. And in good agreement with previous studies and our observations in this study, we found that cluster 2, that consists of conformations with sialic acid, broken wing is the dominant conformation. Whereas on the other hand, in cluster 4, that consists of conformations without sialic acid, bird conformation is the dominant conformation. So this also supports the observations made from studies on free glycan as well. And the final question we tried to answer was, since cluster 2 and cluster 4 have such unique glycan behavior, does that also translate to the way glycan positions itself around the protein residues? To answer this question, we used a technique developed by our group called umbrella visualization, where we project light normal to the position of glycosylated aspargine over all the frames of molecular dynamics trajectory, and the average projection of glycan's shadow above the protein surfaces is projected as a contour plot. And we found that when sialic acid is present, the glycan's shadow is projected on insulin binding residues more often than when sialic acid is absent, which is yet another indication that sialic acid contributes to protein sugar interactions in a major way. And finally, to conclude, we find that there's a greater occurrence of protein sugar interactions in presence of sialic acid and more stable, which involves more stable insulin binding residues as well. And in absence of sialic acid, this stabilization does not take place and may ultimately affect insulin binding adversely, leading to insulin resistance. And in future, we are interested to see if there is a similar behavior in triantennary and tetraantennary glycan, as well as we are also interested to look at allosteric effects. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening.